All right, day 15, back day. Today I forgot my headphones at the gym, and that was the moment I noticed was just a sad and tragic moment. You know, when you wear headphones for like months on end and it's just like become a habit, without them it just feels weird. Like even not having them on your ears at the gym just feels weird. Maybe it's just my nature, but whatever. The focus of today is the back session, which was absolutely it was a pretty decent back session. I was about to say it was insane, but I wouldn't classify it as an insane back session. I didn't have like the craziest pump ever, but I did try some new exercises which did kind of hit in a specific way that might actually trigger soreness tomorrow morning. I kind of still feel it right now. It's been a few hours since the workout. First exercise is somehow not lat pull downs. I'm doing pull-ups instead. So as I mentioned in the last video, this gym does not have a very high variety of machines, especially when it comes to back. There is quite literally 2 back machines. One of them is one of the cable machines that's just like not the best in my opinion. And the other one is this pullover machine that you occasionally see me doing in some other videos that's like the same machine as the chest press. They're not the best in my opinion, at least right now I don't feel like they're the best. So I'm basically just stuck to doing regular old back exercises. Today's choice was pull-ups, and you'll notice that I'm using straps here. Why am I using straps? Because the grips here are absolutely garbage. So what happens with these grips is they twist when you're holding them. It's like the barbell. When you go really heavy, the barbell twists. So that just allows my grip to be absolutely garbage. So what I did is put on straps. Straps also aren't just for grip. Like you might notice that when you put straps on, you feel a specific difference compared to when you're just using your hands. You literally feel like you're pulling entirely with your back. And that's why I feel like straps are just a great addition to any back workout. If you're worried about forearms and all that stuff, I think it's just stupid because to grow forearms, you're pretty much training your forearms when you pick up heavy dumbbells for like bicep curls and things like that. Or for like dumbbell rows, barbell rows, rack pulls, deadlifts. Like you're still gripping the bar. It's not like you're completely not gripping it. So you're still going to trigger some forearm activation. Same goes for pull-ups here. So you'll notice my forearms aren't too bad relative to the rest of my physique. And I've been using straps for pretty much every back exercise for a long time now. Anyways, pull-ups, pretty simple stuff here. Really good lat activation, gets a good stretch at the bottom, good squeeze at the top. You'll notice I'm not going for a chin-up because that's just unnecessary. We're training our back here. We're not going for a pull-up world record, so we don't need to do the chin over the bar thing. We're just trying to get the maximal back activation, and to go any higher than that, there's really no point in terms of lat activation. Moving on, we have the T-bar row. One of my favorite exercises for back, the bread and butter of back thickness. You'll see I'm using the 25-pound plates today just for more range of motion because today I wanted to focus more on range of motion. You'll also notice that I'm using a lot lighter weight than what I usually do. Sometimes I'll throw on like 3 or 4 actual plates and swing that around, and that's like really heavy, but I'm not really focusing on how my form is looking. But here I'm really trying to get the squeeze and the stretch at the top because right now being in a deficit, I have less carbs, so the pump isn't as good as it used to be at some point during the bulk. Like during the bulk, I still remember every workout, it just felt like a cramp. It was so crazy the amount of pump I was getting in that area, probably because of like 6 grams of sodium a day. Anyways, here you can see I'm controlling the eccentric. I'm trying to get the stretch at the bottom, and I'm trying to do this kind of cue where I squeeze my scapulus together, kind of like I'm doing, you know when you go for a lat spread, you squeeze your scapulus together, then you protract. I'm trying to get that retraction going with my mid-back, really try and activate it in this movement. That's kind of the goal of this movement. 5 plates, 5 25-pound plates is the highest I go here. Again, I'm controlling it. I'm not trying to go crazy heavy. I'd love to, but right now that's just not the goal. So the third and final set of this is a triple or quadruple drop set. I can't remember. I go from 6 to 5 to 4 to 3, I think 2. So that's a quadruple drop set I do for T-bar rows. And obviously when I'm doing the drop sets, I'm not concerning myself with form because I'm already pumped. I'm already getting activation in the area I want. So there's kind of no point of focusing on form here. It's not going to do you any benefit. It's actually going to hinder you because you can't get any more reps just being strict. So you just got to swing it, try and get as much of those fibers in the back messed up as possible. All right, you wanted it. Here is the lat pull down. I do a lot less weight than I usually do. In fact, I went down to 180, and I have not gone down to 180 on the lat pull down in a very long time. But when you don't feel something, when you need to go a little bit lighter because you've already done 2 heavy exercises, you might as well do so. That's what I did here. Obviously, I'm still using straps because it just feels a lot better using straps. Using a little bit of a wider grip, getting a full stretch at the top. I'm not pulling it entirely to my chest. I'm pulling it like to my chin area for the most part. It's the same thing with pull-ups. I'm not pulling myself above the bar. I'm just pulling it to where my chin is at the bar. Similar reason, you get more lat activation in that portion of the movement. I do one set of the regular lat pull down and I feel like it's not the best. I don't really want to continue on the lat pull down. So what I do is I move on to a single arm lat pull down and it feels a lot better. Why? Because you can see here, I'm kind of crunching down on the area that squeezes the muscle together. It shortens it and the squeeze at the bottom is just insane. The stretch at the top is also a lot better. You'll see I lean to the side to get the stretch and I lean in to get the squeeze. So stretch and squeeze, two most important parts of the movement. Constant tension throughout because it's a pulley. Pretty simple stuff here. Not using heavy weight because it's single arm. Really just trying to focus on that squeeze, emphasize that as much as possible and develop some juicy lats. 2 more sets of this plus the 1 set of the regular lat pull down that I did. That's about 10 sets so far in the workout. The last thing I decide to do for back at least is this pullover. So I do a single arm pullover. Credit to Sam Sulek for the idea. I did not realize that doing it single arm is a lot better than doing it with the rope together. So I just do it single arm. The reason I do it this way is because the squeeze at the bottom is a lot better. I can pull my arm actually across my body instead of having to stop like right before it, which just enhances that squeeze, gets better activation. So I do it like that. You'll notice I'm swinging my body left to right. Why? Because I'm using my back to pull it. I'm not using my arm. I could be perfectly straight here, not swing my body at all, but it's not going to activate my back because to pull with the elbow and to activate the back, you need a little bit of swing in this situation, and I just felt it a lot better. I think I did 2 or 3 more sets here, total of like 13 sets for back, which is a lot more than I usually do, but I felt like with this isolation type movements, I kind of needed a little bit more volume to replace the intensity that I would have had from something heavier. Also forgot to mention, I actually do a superset here. So you might have noticed by now that I just do random supersets when I feel like the set isn't effective enough. When I feel like I have some left in the tank, I'll throw in a random superset. And as you can see here, I definitely had some left in the tank. Yes, the pullover trains the lats and the row trains the upper back, but I still feel like I have to tax out the entire back this workout or it's just not effective. It might just be the mentality that I have being on a cut. Because on a bulk, I could literally do straight sets the whole workout and it'd feel like crazy. So if you're in a deficit and your workouts kind of suck, I'm with you. Obviously, I'm still getting a good contraction. It's just not as crazy as it was during the bulk. Still do the same thing for the second set. The last set, pretty much. Single arm, pullovers, pretty heavy weight to be honest. And then I move on to the cable row to superset and finish it off. That's 13 sets. A lot of them were supersets and a lot of them were drop sets. That's just how you got to do it sometimes. And by sometimes, I mean all the time because that's what I do. Anyways. Here's some posing. I might have found some decent lighting over here. I don't know what's wrong with my vacuum. It doesn't look the best. It's just genetic structure at this point. My arms could use a lot more size. Everything could use a lot more size. My waist could get a little bit smaller. I'm just probably not posing it properly. Front lat spread looks pretty good. I have a huge chest gap. Pretty hard to change that genetically. Pretty hard to change that as it's pretty much just all genetics. You could train your lower chest a little bit more to change it, but it doesn't do that much. This back double bicep I really like, but my favorite pose without a doubt is the back lat spread, which funny enough is not a mandatory pose in Classic, which is what I'm going for. So that's absolutely fantastic. Yes, I got a lot of back knee, but it's not because I'm taking SARMs or whatever. It's just genetics. I don't know why I have it. I pretty bad skincare or whatever, but it is what it is. Lighting is a little bit better than usual. Posing was pretty decent. I really don't think it was my best look, but it is what it is. I'm slowly progressing even though I'm in a deficit. And obviously, since it's back day, I do my rear delt work. I'm not going to skip out on rear delt, so I do 5 sets of this cable, whatever you want to call it, rear delt fly. The pec deck was taken, so I just decided to do this. Still an effective substitute. Really got my rear delts going. Something else I actually did today was abs, which I did cable crunches for 3 sets and did vacuums as kind of like a superset. Try and keep the waist in as much as possible. And that's pretty much it for the workout. Simple stuff. I changed things up a little bit. It was a little bit different than what I usually do. But potentially next back workout, I'm going to do some heavy rows and cool things like that. So we'll see. Tomorrow is chest and triceps. Look forward to that. And I shall see you tomorrow.